like the second time that happened.
Yeah, if it's every 20 minutes, it's okay. I do hear clicking, though, beforehand. It just goes click, 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 and that's when I know to just, not have a chance to just hang up. But yeah, where were we, Isis? Where would you like to continue?
When I just lost my train of thought myself just for.
I think we were at chemtrails and individual solutions.
We were talking about Obama's the last act that we were talking about Obama and the last act that he just signed to go into effect. That's what we were getting ready to get into. You were running some things down, and then that's when you got cut out.
Right. Well, as you can see, he's added 100,000 troops to Afghanistan and keeping Guantanamo open. Obama's job is to basically bankrupt the U.S. Webster Griffin Tarpley. So definitely look up Webster Tarpley. If you Google Webster, Webster, Tarpley, Tarpley, and Obama, you can go through some interesting analysis of his. But he likened Obama to Jimmy Carter in the 70s. A one-termer, basically wrecks the economy, all full of hope, smiles, and all this sort of thing, and just takes us down. And Carter was run by Zbigniew Brzezinski, and Obama is also run by Zbigniew Brzezinski, and Bill Gates was Zbigniew Brzezinski's office boy. And Zbigniew Brzezinski is a 70, 80-year-old, old Polish, oligarch. He's like Henry Kissinger. He's one of the guys that can walk, between worlds. He can go into that world of the unseen oligarchs, and he can come to our world and be on MSNBC. He's one of the gray men, if you use a Masonic term for it. A guy can actually go into the private meetings at the top with, the Rothschilds or the people at the very top and still market around with locals, just like Henry Kissinger did. And so the plan is to have a malaise. It was a Carter malaise in the 70s, where everybody just feels blessed. That's basically it. We're all supposed to get depressed. We're all supposed to be like hoping for more, but at the same time, knowing in the back of our minds that it's kind of like when if your husband or your wife left you, every week that passed by, you'd lose hope in them coming back. Every week that passes by and that things get worse, you lose hope in them getting better, and that's by design. And so by 2012, if America's still America, and not we're not all UN federated states in some fashion, Obama should be gone, and we should be much worse off as part of a larger, broader plan run by people behind Obama who are using him as a salesman to get us to buy into it.
I mean, does Obama know what's going on? Do you think he really knows, or do you think he just really doesn't have a clue as to what's going on?
Not sure.
I don't think anyone's
listening
that
to Black
stupid.
Krishna on the ISIS
I don't think
radio
Bush is
show.
that stupid. I just don't. I don't believe in functional idiocy stuff of the people at the top. I think that Bush was a great character because if Bush could be sold as so stupid that he didn't understand anything, then he didn't have to do anything. He could keep adding troops to Iraq. He could keep, screwing up the economy. He could keep whatever, and people would think he was the idiot king, who just couldn't be reached. We just got to wait till this guy leaves. He just doesn't understand. And so it was a great character. And same with Obama. I mean, I know these people, and there's all sorts of there's ways to talk about them that imply certain things. And if I, had to be on a mainstream news show, and I was part of a panel discussion, I would employ those just so I wouldn't get kicked off. But instead of saying, there's many people around him that keep him sheltered, he's got this, he's busy. No, I think he's a Harvard-educated lawyer, and I think that he's smart enough to understand what he's doing and who he's working for. And I think people need to understand that. And as Obama himself said in his book, he says, I'm basically a blank slate upon which people can etch their, hopes and dreams.
Definitely, and we're just talking about Barack Obama, listening to Black Krishna on the ISIS radio. We're listening. This is a few minutes ago, number 9. We got a lot of stuff going on.
No, as it is right now.
This is some Lou Dobbs talking about, what's going on in Copenhagen.
Well, here's what's unusual. It's been, 14 years or so since they had snow in Copenhagen at Christmas time. Only 7 times in the 20th century did they have snow. I don't know what to say anymore. I just don't know what you say about Al Gore. I don't know what you say about the climate change conference. I do think you ought to mention, and I will, that the Russians now maintain that the UK, their climate research center there, distorted the global temperature numbers by leaving out just about 70% of the total numbers in Russia over the course of the 80s and 90s into the 2000s. They figure they changed the global warming numbers by about globally by about 6/10%.
Numbers are changing. We're talking about 0.6%. The numbers on the carbon hoax. We're not sure what's going on with the global warming situation. The green is all around, though, and we know that carbon is abundant. Is an abundant resource. So with that in mind, we've taken the steps in starting up a campaign. Look out for carbon septillionaires, and it's part of the ClimateGate hoax, the hoax exposed going on.
And they will be none the wiser, for not one man in a million could ever figure out our plans. And if by accident 1 or 2 would figure it out, we have in our arsenal plausible deniability. After all, this is the only logical way to fund government, by floating liens and debt to the registrants in the form of benefits and privileges. This will inevitably reap us huge profits beyond our wildest expectations and leave every American a contributor to this fraud, which we will call social insurance. Without realizing it, every American will insure us for any loss we may incur in this manner. Every American will unknowingly be our servant, however begrudgingly. The people will become helpless, and without any hope for their redemption, we will employ the high office of the president of our dummy corporation to foment this plot against America.
Edward Mandel House, letter to Woodrow Wilson, quote, source from the internet, printed out, the Free Man on the Land situation.
No, it's not classified. It's available at thefreedompool.org, house quote, and it's a historical document. Now, Canada is a corporation.
All right, so we're getting some learning going on. We're watching The Free Man on the Land is one of 4 video series on supporting local scene action, Sosa Productions. Also featured is the ClimateGate Hoax Exposed series of videos that you can check out on youtube.com/supportlocalscene. And we're also listening to the Cash Flow archive.
Okay. Then you get to a place after a little while and they go, no, I'm going to avoid this. No, I'm not going to deal with that. No. Now, do they want to collect this money? No. They want us buying their stuff. Talking about America. I mean, they want America to buy their stuff. But most absolutely, there is the place that your Federal Reserve, besides your government. See, that you've got to understand, they have nothing to do with each other.
Right.
They have nothing to do with each other.
So what does this story say? Are they putting a lien on the Federal Reserve or on the government?
Well, it just changed from yesterday to today. So I looked on here right now to get the current stuff, and now it's been updated and it says Treasury Secretary read his rights as tagged. U.S. Treasury Secretary, you can't do this to me. Yes, we can. Criminal financier Paulson has been pulling together Geithner strings. MI6 and Interpol moved Paulson to Bermuda. Currency boxes seized from the quote box gang. None of the quote box gang for receipt of any. So it changed. Yesterday it was one thing.
Look out for the carbon septillionaires. ClimateGate, the hoax exposed. Carbon septillionaires.